good afternoon, I guess, over there, all the way there to Corpus Christi. And from New York City, this is Cpsboxingnews in Boxing News Media from the city of New York. It's my pleasure to introduce an athlete, professional boxer, MMA athlete, Marina Robles. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I appreciate for your time. How's everything?
It's good. Everything's doing good. It's getting towards the evening here today, so just kind of winding down. But yeah, it's been a good day so far.
Amazing and amazing when I see a lot of different people from different parts of United States, I would say. And not only that, around the world, that eventually women's boxing is making so much noise, and I'm here to support women's boxing. And first of all, congratulations to Jake Paul for betting on women's boxing. The great card that they put in over here at MSG, July 11th. That's going to be historical. Everyone, please do not miss it. But before we started with all of that, Marina, what's your story? I mean, I always mention, all over the world, such a great, beautiful women's, but now they join in the sport of boxing or MMA, contact sports. But what was the motive in order to enter, in let's say, in combat sports, first of all?
Well, growing up, I did a little bit of martial art. I was in middle school. I took a class with my mom. That was my first time ever going into a martial arts gym. So we just kind of did it as a mom-daughter thing, and then I ended up moving. At that time, I was in California. So I moved back to Texas, and there was not really a lot of sports to do just because I was like getting readjusted, basically, at an awkward time in life. By that time, I was in high school. So I decided to join the wrestling team in high school. It was easy. I didn't have to pay for a gym or anything. I was already at school. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the sport of wrestling. And then kind of from there, that's where it just kind of took off.
Awesome. I mean, hey, I bet you that. I mean, don't get me wrong, who doesn't, love wrestling? I'm one of the guys that, I used to watch, not anymore, I'm not going to lie. But don't get me wrong, I still admire, these women when they go and jump in the ring, wrestling, and they do their own thing. But now, hearing your story, from there it started, growing every combat sport that you do, because I know you do MMA as well. What was it for you to make that transition from wrestling to going MMA or mixed martial arts, I would say? When did it start? When did you feel like, okay, it is time for me to continue, but let me try another different sport? What's the story on it?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I actually was going to go to state, but I got injured at regionals. So that kind of put a stop to a lot of my athletic training in general. I had hurt my knee, and so after I graduated, I really didn't know where to go. I didn't go to college to wrestle. I had a knee injury, so I took a couple years off from any kind of sports, and I had met a lady at church who was really into working out. So she got me into the gym, and it was kind of in that moment when I fell in love with being an athlete, with, pushing myself to the limit, kind of just seeing what my body's capable of doing. And my family was just like, well, hey, if you love that, why don't you think about going back into combat sports or just doing some type of gym training at a dojo. So I thought about it. I ended up signing up for a Muay Thai gym here in Corpus Christi. And it was, I want to say, I think it was the end of 2018 or 2019 when I joined. And within 6 months, I had my first kickboxing match or kickboxing fight. So it was a lot of fun. I went right into a tournament, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up, I came in third at that tournament. So I ended up winning 2 of my fights, and I lost 1. But it was a really overall good experience, and that kind of was the moment where I was like, okay, I want to do this more as just than a hobbyist. I want to compete, whether it be in grappling, kickboxing, MMA. I was just ready for any opportunity. And kind of from that point, that's when I really dove in head on into my training. And shortly after that Muay Thai gym, COVID happened. So I had to make some changes, and then I ended up going to a gym that did both kickboxing, striking, and grappling. So that's how I kind of segued from the kickboxing Muay Thai into the MMA.
Wow, super interesting. I mean, as you mentioned, being an athlete, doing all these type of different type of sports, I know that every type of sport requires, a lot of sacrifice, dedication, and not only that, to be focused, because I bet you, and I always imagine, like how all of you athletes combine sometimes to do Muay Thai, and then also Jiu-Jitsu, or even though boxing, because that's a hard sport as well. But being talking about boxing, um when do you make that decision in order to switch it up for boxing? Because boxing is not easy. I mean, I had the opportunity to speak with Chris, and I remember she mentioned, you already being an athlete, right? But switching for the sport of boxing is a different thing, because like when you are wrestling, like kind of wrestling, when you want to put that kind of pressure in order to submit somebody. Remember, boxing is not about submitting. Boxing is about it's kind of like dance, but you have to punch somebody but not get punched. So you need to last 3 minutes, or depending the time for. I mean, in women's boxing, eventually it's 2 minutes and something, but now women's boxing, due to Amanda Serrano, that she's promoting the women's boxing now, every round is supposed to be 3 rounds, and some people agree, some people doesn't. But at the end of the day, to last a round that it lasts 3 minutes is not easy. I mean, in wrestling, like I said, it's something different. You apply any like, I'm not trying to say that you're gonna choke somebody with the elbow, but you submit somebody and that's it. That's the end of the fight. But in boxing, it's one punch doesn't really define, a knockout. It depends, how they apply it. But if he just throw in a jab, and you're not gonna hurt, at all. So you have to manage yourself in order to, I don't know, punch in the liver, or just do the right thing, But how is it, to do the transition from all these combat sport and going into boxing? Can you talk about the experience?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been funny as well, because, like you mentioned, it's two total different games, two total different things. A lot of the MMA and grappling, when you go in, you can punch, and then you're able to grab, or you're able to hold. Where, like you said, for boxing or kickboxing, it's just constant striking. Like, you have to throw your punches. You can't just hold on to somebody or go to the ground and find another way to win. You gotta stand there and you gotta bang. You gotta use your footwork. So it is very different. I would say I made the transition into like boxing training more recently. A lot of it, honestly, was because of my boyfriend that I'm dating. He is a boxer himself, and he noticed, like, hey, you should work on this. You should do this. And I was like, okay, well, let's train together, then let's do some boxing work. And it has improved my MMA game as well. Everything kind of helps elevate each style. So it's been fun. I'm actually really excited for this upcoming fight, to be able to showcase the new skills, the footwork, the head movement, all of that I've been practicing, and now I get to show it.
Awesome. I mean, congrats to your boyfriend, because eventually he got you in the sport of boxing. And also, not only that, I bet you that he probably asked you like, okay, come and run with me, train with me, and you're gonna see the difference. The differences when you being in the octagon, now being in the ring. And as we mentioned right now, there are two things different, when you're trying to strike it, I guess, with I mean, I always ask the question, like, from people that eventually they had done this type of sport, because I'd be like, you don't feel like when you are in the ring, you don't want to get a kick, or you don't want to throw a kick, because I remember how you that's a good question. How you block your mind in order that, let's say right now you are in boxing, right, and you know that you can really throw a kick or elbow. You just have to go with the jab and how you block your mind, or how you know, say to yourself, or what's the words of what happened over here, you know, because eventually, you know, you probably by reaction you wanna try to, I guess, kick somebody, but you gotta remember, oh, I'm in boxing, so okay. So have you ever happened to you something like that, or just it's just my imagination, I guess?
No, I mean, I'm sure there will be a moment where I'm like I glitch a little bit because I want to throw, you know, something that I shouldn't be throwing because it's in a different martial art. It'll happen sometimes in training. Like I'll be, you know, doing just boxing only, and then I'll accidentally kick, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm sorry. But in the actual fight night, that has not happened yet, thankfully. But I mean, my coach is really good at giving me my pep talks before I go out there, and you know, I get zoned in, I get focused. So I tell myself that I'm in the back to, like, okay, this is just a grappling competition, or this is a kickboxing fight. I do go over it in my head to remind myself so I don't make that mistake.
Awesome. So I guess that your coach or whoever is in your corner prepares you, like, mentally, physically, also to remind you, hey, this is a comeback sport. This is boxing. This is something that you're not gonna use the kick or the elbows. Don't try to do. Because I remember watching, and that came in my mind right now, because I remember when I was watching Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. That was Mayweather. I remember Conor. He was throwing his hand, like trying to. I said, "What's going on?" I think he just forgot that it was a boxing match. But you know, that's a good thing that, you know, you have a team that reminds you, okay, we're in boxing. Remember, not use your foot or kick or things like that. So remember, don't use your forehead neither, you know what I mean? Try to do your own thing. But that's amazing. Let us know, I mean, when is the day for your fight, because eventually your supporters, friends and family in the local area, they might gonna show up, you know, in order to see this, you know, amazing showcase that you eventually gonna bring.
Yeah, it's gonna be May 31st. So in just a couple of days, actually, I think it's like 10 days, 10 or 9 days. So it's right around the corner. It's gonna be in South Padre Island. So that's a little bit more towards the Valley area here in Texas. I'll be fighting for the Texas Fight League. So I'm very excited. The opponent that I'm actually fighting, we have already fought before, but we did MMA. And so we're going to be fighting again now. This time we're going to be doing kickboxing at the end of the month. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to get back in there. I've had some time out from fighting just due to injuries, but I'm recovered. I'm ready. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm definitely ready.
That's awesome, and that's super important. You remarked right now about injuries, because I know I was just speaking before. I had another interview early, and then I was talking to somebody that she said that she wanna take, you know, time in order to heal and everything. You know, the injuries that she had. God willing, you know, the doctor give her a green light, but in the meantime, she says, I gotta take some time in order to recover myself. And then I say, yeah, you should do that, because I mean, always the sport, you know, boxing or MMA or any other combat sport requires, like, you be, you know, kind of healthy in order to, you don't want to be injured and then get more injured. So I say, nothing happens. My respect for anybody out there, you know, including those people, and eventually, that you just mentioned, you know, recovering yourself, you feel great, you feel ready for this, and amazing that it's gonna be soon, you know, your fight. And talking about women's boxing, women's in the sport, comeback, and all of that, what's your thoughts, that right now we seeing great events that all women's are putting, you know, eventually for the fight fans all around the world, and eventually this great card that I just mentioned early, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, it's coming back again in New York City, where everything started. Now it seems that it's gonna end over here, hopefully. I mean, 3 fights already. These two ladies, these two great champions. What's your thought on women's boxing?
I think it's wonderful. I am so glad that ladies are not only just like doing it, but they're encouraging their family members and friends that are females to, hey, even if you don't want to fight, like, just train. You know, it's great for self-defense, for building confidence, and then now seeing, you know, those moms, whether they be single moms or if they have a partner, you know, full-time career, a woman, and they're doing that on top of now training hard for a fight, going through these fight camps that are grueling. You know, we're showing others that, you know, women are capable of accomplishing great things too. And I just think it's so awesome to see, like, when I first even just started martial arts when I was in middle school, there was like no female fighters, period. I mean, you had female boxers and stuff, but it was not talked about like it is talked about today. And, you know, fast forward a couple years, 20-something years, it's like, here we are. You know, you have this big show that's being put on in New York. You have all these fighters that are in UFC that are females, and, you know, they're getting highlighted, they're getting showcased, and I just think it's amazing because, you know, women are strong, women are powerful, and, you know, we're capable of doing a lot, and I think it's finally, like, getting recognized throughout the martial arts community.
It is, and I'll be one of the persons be cheering for this event because, what can I say? I cannot really tell you who wins this fight because it's a 50-50 fight. How about yourself? What's your thoughts? If it's a 50-50 fight, or who you think?
I agree. It could go either way. I'm definitely excited to see it happen. You know, just the whole card in general, but of course the main event fight. But yeah, I'm kind of like on the edge. I haven't really decided who I think is going to win, but I am looking forward to it, definitely.
Yeah, it's that you know, when it comes to support all of you ladies and women's boxing and the whole event, I can't really tell you like who will win, but that's one of the things that we cannot miss. We cannot, you know, miss this event, even if people cannot come over here, because I bet you it's gonna grab out so much attention. Many fight fans will travel to New York City, and that's gonna fill it up, the whole stadium, as they did it the first time, because the first time it was amazing. That's my experience. I mean, I was there in the beginning in the first fight, and totally electrical atmosphere that you need to be there at least, you know.
You were there in person?
I was there in person, you know, and
awesome.
To be honest, I didn't want to sit, you know. I didn't want to go back and sit myself. I was standing up, you know. Everybody, you could tell everybody that was standing up and cheering for the last event, that main card event that was Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. Oh, that. So I guarantee that this is not gonna be the exception. So I invite everybody to tune in and join, and you know, and support this movement. And not only that, to Marina Robles, that eventually she's gonna have very soon her performance, her showcase that she will bring locally. So nothing, just, you know, in general, Marina. So we mentioned about this, and is there any, I would say, nickname that you go by and people will call you like that, or you just Marina Robles? It's how they know you.
Yeah. So my fight name is the Texas Rose. So I'm Marina the Texas Rose Robles.
Oh, awesome! How did you get the nickname? I mean, who put the nickname? That was a coach, a family member? Can you let us know on that?
Yeah, no, so my favorite color is yellow, and the Texas Rose is yellow. So like a lot of my gear and stuff like that, clothes that I wear, yellow. And then of course being in Texas, but it was actually a friend of mine. They were doing digital design, and they were just, I don't know, just messing with different stuff. I had asked them for help to do like some posters and stuff like that, and they were just like, you know what? You're always in yellow. Like, you should be called the Texas Rose. And I was just like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Like, I love that name. Man, it just kind of stuck. So ever since then, there was like no big moment, but they were just someone who was really creative, and they came up with a cool name. And I was like, yep, I like that. I'm going to use that. The
Texas Rose. I mean, I like that too, you know. And to be honest, I saw right now you're wearing something color pink, and then I said, is it that related because your nickname or something like that? But no, you already came out with the answer, and I'm thankful that you let know the fight fans and everyone that eventually they're coming to support yourself. They're coming to support, you know, every event that is going on all around US, and of course all over the world, I would say. But nothing, you know, I'm thankful that you gave me that opportunity, and I don't say goodbye. I say until next time. Any message that you would like to send the fight fans, friends, family before we wrap it up with this interview?
Yeah, well, real quick, I want to say thank you to you for just even this opportunity to, you know, do the interview, to meet on the other side of the United States. So that's pretty awesome. I think it's really cool how the fight game in general has allowed me to meet a lot of different people in different states all over. I've even met people in England. So I'm like, wow, this is really awesome. So thank you. I do appreciate your time this afternoon. I want to thank God, of course, first and foremost, for getting me through my injuries and getting me through this past year of recovery. I'm really excited to get back in the fighting game. I want to thank my family, my friends, my coaches, my boyfriend, my girlfriends that are my best friends have been there been there with me through this whole injury as well. So they were all a lot of big supporters and encouragement. I also want to thank my sponsors. I have a couple sponsors. So this is one of them. This is the shirt that I'm wearing. This is Rock's Discount. We're a supplement store here in Texas. They have stores all over Texas. And then I have another sponsor, the Training Room, who has been helping me with my recovery. I got Mark's floor coverings. I also have Neptune Fitness and Texas Made, which does a lot of like my gear. So I want to say I'm going to be wearing one of their outfits at this fight. I got to try it on to make sure it still fits.
Great.
But yeah, they do a lot of like my athletic wear and my training gear. So I just want to shout out those 5, and then the gym that I'm training at, Weapons at Hand MMA, here in Corpus Christi. There's a couple other gyms out there that I've been training at with my boyfriend as well. Ashcraft with Coach Stacy, and Unity with Coach Ray. I've done a couple of sessions there, so I just want to thank them for their time that they have poured into me as well during this fight camp.
Awesome. I mean, you know, I say, you know, thank you for all of the, you know, the supporters, every family member that eventually it's in your corner, friends, and every sponsor that it's in your corner as well. You know, I always said, the sky is the limit. You continue moving forward. And I'm here to support yourself, anybody out there, women's boxing, and nothing. Like I said, I don't say goodbye, and I would say see you later until the next time. Ladies and gentlemen, from Corpus Christi, Marina Robles with us. Thank you again. Good night.